Strong and severe thunderstorms back into central and eastern Kentucky. I'm tracking the heavy rain and high wind threat just ahead.
Storm cleanup is underway in Lexington after powerful storms knocked trees over onto trucks like this one.
Multiple sources are reporting Donald Trump has chosen a vice presidential running mate. The details ahead here at 4.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. Andrea Walker and Amber Philpott reporting. The tropical field continues out there today, and it could bring some strong, even severe storms this afternoon.
And we are declaring today another First Alert Severe Weather Day because of the potential of these storms. And we want to get straight to Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Chris, what's out there right now?
Yeah, a lot of storms have been ongoing for the past several hours across most areas, and especially south of Interstate 64 into central Kentucky. That's where we've been getting in on some small hail, some gusty winds, a ton of lightning, heavy rain. Yeah, we know the drill. We've been through it plenty of times so far this summer. Right on top of Lancaster and now getting into western parts of Madison County with a stronger storm that has popped near Stanton into Powell County. Those are the two storms that we're watching closely right now. Here we go onto the Garrett, Madison County, Jessamine County line here. That is just to the west of Interstate 75. Richmond, southern parts of Fayette County. That storm's going to roll its way on off to the east and the northeast, packing heavy rain, gusty winds. Strongest storm on radar right now is the storm that you are looking at. It is on top of the Mountain Parkway here as we hit the parkway off 64. Coming through the Winchester area, Clark County, and then we go toward Clay City and Stanton into northern parts of Estill County. A ton of lightning. It's a slow mover, so watch the creeks and the streams. Stanton, Clay City, you may have winds greater than 40 miles per hour ongoing over the next little bit. Southern Kentucky just had a severe thunderstorm warning expire for parts of Laurel County. Storms there are weakening a little bit, but look at all the heavy rains coming in behind that. That extends back into sections of the Lake Cumberland area. 3D Defender. Look at all the storms, and then look at this storm that is really spiking up against all the rest. That's the storm here into Powell County. Also, big storms into northeastern Kentucky, already getting wind damage from the Ashland area, and we're going to watch these storms because they are training. What does that mean? They're firing up over the same piece of real estate, just like you would get the cars on a railroad track to move on down the line. You're getting those storms to do the exact same thing. Watch out for some flash flooding. Oh yeah, one more complex of storms here into southern Indiana. So ladies, as you can tell, it is a very active evening. We'll continue to watch the skies. No watches or warnings, at least right now.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Donald Trump is in the process of narrowing down his choice for a running mate, and a decision is set for Friday.
While there are 3 candidates still in the running, it appears one is pulling ahead. Steve Nannis has the latest. It's our top story at 4.
On the campaign trail, Donald Trump often boasts about his skills when it comes to decision-making.
I have good judgment. I have great judgment.
Now he faces perhaps the most important decision of his presidential campaign, selecting his vice presidential running mate. A source in the campaign tells CNN that Trump indicated to Indiana Governor Mike Pence Wednesday night by phone that he is moving towards selecting him, and Pence's team was told to start preparing. Trump will officially unveil his pick in New York City Friday morning. The first-term governor and former congressman is seen as a staunch conservative and strong fundraiser, with connections on Capitol Hill and Washington experience that Trump admits he lacks. But it's not a done deal yet, and the other 2 contenders still in the running are being coy about where they stand. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich,
Pence, Gingrich.
and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Good evening. Can you tell us where you think you stand in the beat process?
I can't, but it's good to see you.
And while Pence appears to be ahead, Trump is also said to be thinking hard about Christie, who is seen as an ideal attack dog. Now it's all up to Trump to decide who will join him on stage in Cleveland next week and potentially the White House next January. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis.
CBS is also reporting Trump has tapped Pence to be his running mate, citing a GOP official close to the process. Back to weather now. Cleanup is underway this afternoon in Lexington after a batch of storms rolled through overnight.
Strong wind gusts took out several trees, blocking roads all around the city. WKYT's Mark Barber has a look at some of the damage.
The strong storm toppled trees onto a handful of streets in Lexington. If you look closely here on Southport Drive, you can see huge tree limbs sitting on a truck.
it kind of looks like almost a scene out of a movie. Just a bad tornado movie.
Larry Bryant lives next to the man whose truck is buried under a mountain of branches.
My neighbor across the street here, he's gonna be a little bit of a headache for him. His vehicle's pretty badly damaged over there.
His SUV is in much better shape, but it probably won't escape without a scrape.
I think the worst part of it's going to be getting this cut up and pulled out of here. It actually got the front of one of my other vehicles here, but I think the damage is pretty light damage. May need some body work, maybe some paint.
The strong winds that tore down trees overnight also knocked out power to more than 800 homes and businesses.
Woke up this morning in kind of disbelief, and just due to all the damage here, I just really can't believe. I mean, within just a few minutes, all this happened.
It will take quite some time to clean all this up. Brian thinks it will take a full day's work to clear all this storm damage. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, the good news, no one was hurt. Crews tell us 4 streets were closed by fallen trees, and they are now all back open.
A Lexington man is facing charges after allegedly threatening to shoot police officers. Raynell White is charged with terroristic threatening and 2 counts of harassing communications. His arrest warrant says he made repeated calls to police in Houston, San Antonio, and West Bloomfield, Michigan. In each case, he made reference to last week's deadly officer shootings in Dallas. The warrant says he threatened to kill officers in Michigan. White was already in jail for making threats against WKYT. We'll have more on White's court appearance today ahead on WKYT News at 6. We're learning more about a man who drowned in the Kentucky River. The Garrett County coroner says 42-year-old Charles Martin of Lexington was swimming with 3 others near Buckeye Road when he went under and didn't come back up. His friends pulled him out and drove him halfway to town to meet the ambulance, but he died on the way. We'll have much more on the investigation coming up in a report on WKYT News at 5:30.
Family and friends of a missing northern Kentucky couple are getting some new help in the search for their bodies. State police say Craig Pennington murdered Robert Jones and Crystal Warner almost 2 weeks ago in Washington County. Their bodies have not been found. Today, a nonprofit, Kentucky K-9, joined in the search to help the families find some closure.
The family would like to feel confident that to clear the area where the murder occurred. So we've come with our search dogs. They're human remains detection dogs. This one is Scout, and we're checking the property. The sheriff and the state police know that we're, doing this, and the family really wanted this to be done. So we thought this would be a good thing to get accomplished.
If their bodies are not found today, we're told there is another search scheduled for Saturday. We'll have more on the investigation on WKYT News at 5. We are working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30.
Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Sam?
Good afternoon. The head of Fayette County Schools announced a major initiative today aimed at closing the achievement gap. A $600,000 grant will be used toward an initiative to help boost achievement for boys of color. Manny Kalk says the school district will establish an office for educating boys of color, a place to help meet the needs for primarily black and Hispanic students. The hope with today's announcement isn't to give the students a leg up, he says, but rather to put them on the same playing field. We'll have more from the school superintendent, who says the community will be able to track their efforts and hold them accountable for success. That's ahead on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. And at today's news conference, the superintendent repeated his support for the Black Lives Matter Club at Bryan Station High School. A picture of the club's sign was shared on Facebook yesterday and received some backlash. The school says the club was started by students of different races at Bryan Station High last fall. School leaders say the club has sponsored conversations about stereotypes, staff diversity, and fostering racial harmony at the school.
They came to the school administration and said, hey, we recognize that there are some disparities and there's patterns of that disparity. Instead of admiring the problem, we want to take action and engage in constructive conversations, to have strategies, to leverage those to improve that outcome so that we have a more fair and equitable school. Who could be against that?
And you can read the full statement from Fayette County Schools on WKYT.com. We'll also have reaction from students in the Black Lives Matter Club ahead on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. A Central Kentucky constable facing charges after police say they caught him selling drugs. Glenn Witt is charged with drug trafficking. According to his arrest citation, police recorded Witt selling oxycodone pills. Police say Witt had his Clark County Constable badge, money from the sale, and a gun with him when he was arrested. At 5, Victor Puente will have more on the constable's arrest. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Andrea and Amber, back to you.
Myers is bringing nearly 100 jobs to its Lexington area stores. Find out when they will be taking applications ahead in Money Watch.
And AT&T wants to provide better service at crowded places like concerts. How they're going to do it coming up. Welcome back into WKYT. Officials from Myers say they plan to hire more than 100 new employees at its Lexington area stores. That begins today's Money Watch.
Store officials say they hope to hire about 35 people each at 3 locations: Man o' War, Reynolds Road, and in Richmond. People interested in working for Meyer can go to the stores from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday to apply for a wide variety of available positions. Homes that went into foreclosure during the housing crisis are now skyrocketing in value. The real estate website Zillow says foreclosed homes have nearly doubled in value. They're appreciating faster than other homes.
And AT&T says it may have a solution to bad cell service at packed venues like a concert or sporting event. The company is trying out a drone program. It wants to fly drones with cell service overhead to provide additional signal.
I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Dewey Lake, where we are getting ready for Paddle Fest. We'll have more when we return here on WKYT.
Hey, if you're out on a lake across the region right now, you may want to paddle toward the shoreline. We've got thunderstorms on the move. Some of them could be strong or locally severe. We'll track that threat after the break. Stay with us. WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day. Thunderstorms rumbling across many areas out there. Live Skycam looking toward a very intense thunderstorm that is just to the southeast of Winchester. That's on top of the Clay City and the Stanton area. West side of Lexington, 84, 67% humidity, so it feels a whole lot hotter than it actually is out there. Thank you, humidity. Defender Radar Network with those gusty showers and thunderstorms that are out there. This is not a big, widespread severe weather outbreak. Some local wind gusts can knock down a tree or some limbs, and those storms will pack a ton of lightning and can put down some heavy rain. Thunderstorm here into Jessamine County and parts of Madison County is decreasing right in front of us. So Richmond, a little bit of light rain coming from that, but the big show is off to our east. Check out all the lightning showing up here in the southern parts of Montgomery County, now on top of Clay City and Stanton. That is drifting to the northeast and will head into parts of Menifee, Montgomery, and Bath counties over the next little bit. 3D Defender shows that that storm has dropped just a little bit, so it's no longer spiking up there, what we were looking at a little bit ago. That's likely producing at least some pea-sized hail in a few spots. Other thunderstorms across southern Kentucky have weakened considerably as well. A little smattering of thunderstorms here across Knox County, down into Bell County, and right on top of Whitley County. Behind that, by the way, a lot of heavy rain, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, no severe weather associated with that. Severe thunderstorm warning, though, into northeastern Kentucky. That includes Boyd County, Carter County, Greenup County, and over into parts of our neighbors into Ohio and West Virginia. That storm continues to move away. Central Kentucky, going to watch for some thunderstorms to blow up across Louisville in southern parts of Indiana. Some of those are now going severe. Those storms will work their way eastbound on 64. So even in the metro, where we haven't had a whole lot over the past couple of hours, we got to watch the western sky because there's a cold front that's out there, and it isn't anywhere close to getting in here just yet. And I think when it does, it's going to put the brakes on. Hour-by-hour forecast, indeed, showing those at least rounds of thunderstorms out there that would carry us through the evening. And the deeper you get into the overnight in a setup like this, those storms will begin to diminish and weaken, but may return again before the day is over. The true severe weather threat is not a great one across all of central and eastern Kentucky. It's more of a localized wind threat and some small hail, but it's a threat we'll keep an eye on nonetheless. Over the next couple of days, tricky forecast with that front setting up across southern Kentucky and parts of Tennessee. So a storm or two possible tomorrow. Better chance maybe across eastern Kentucky. I think everybody still is in at least the line of fire for some scattered stuff on Saturday. best chances south and east. Sunday looks dry for the most part, normal July temperatures during that time. And here's that extended forecast. May hit 90 on Monday ahead of additional rounds of thunderstorms that dive in here Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday, knocking the temperatures down. Still, we'll watch the end of next week for some honest-to-goodness heat and humidity trying to build in across the area. Let's check in now with Officer Don to see how traffic is moving.
Well, as we get a look at outbound Nicholasville Road this afternoon from South Lime out to the Circle, one of our slowest corridors. Had a crash there earlier. It's been cleared, but traffic in front of the mall is still pretty heavy. Now, on the north side of town, slowest traffic at the moment is on the inner loop of the Circle approaching Boardwalk. Drive times this afternoon still to Richmond across the Clays Ferry Bridge. We're okay on the interstate. Things are clear there. On into Scott County and Georgetown on 75 northbound. So far, we're trouble-free. Now back to you in the studio.
Sounds good. Thank you, Don. There's a fun event coming up that you and your family can participate in. It's called Paddle Fest.
Deanne Stevens is out and about today paddling on the lake. She joins us from Prestonsburg with more. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here at Dewey Lake preparing for something called Paddle Fest. We have Mitchell with us. Mitchell, this is a ton of fun and great exercise.
It is. It's a lot of fun. We have our Paddle Fest, which takes place May through October. It's the fourth Saturday. Normally we're on the Leviathan Fork River, which is 16.4 miles. But this July, which will be July 23rd, we're going to be here on Dewey Lake at Jenny Wiley State Resort Park.
There's so much to see here in Prestonsburg, Floyd County, paddling down the water, the beautiful lake.
Oh, yeah,
Talk a bit about that.
absolutely.
You guys are promoting so much around here.
We do. We have a lot to offer here at Eastern Kentucky. A lot of folks love coming out, spending the summer with us. We have anything from Jenny Wiley Theater at the Outdoor Amphitheater to the MAC with the Opry. So there's a lot of fun. You never know what we have going on. We just want to make people aware of it and get the word out.
Do you have to be an experienced kayaker? That's the key here.
Well, actually, you do not have to be. It's a pretty safe event. We sit there and have safety tech out with us on the river and the lake. So it's safe. Novices are welcome. Just keep in mind, though, the duration. You're going to be in a kayak for about 4 to 6 hours, somewhere in there. So that's the biggest struggle.
It's not a 2-minute interview is what he's saying. It's the only reason I'm surviving right now, right?
You're here with us. You're going to be with us. And we will feed you. We have lunch and shuttle transportation available for $10 per person.
Okay.
So you can sit there, have lunch provided at the end of it, which is fun. It's awesome, great way to have fun, enjoy the outdoors.
So how do folks get more info on this? And do they have to sign up, pre-register?
They sit there. They can sign up by calling Prestonsburg Tourism Office at 800.
800 what? You're afraid I was going to get you, aren't you?
Well, I sit here, I was like, wait a minute. Well, 606-886-1341 is our office. We also have our website, prestonsburgky.org, for more information. So.
This is so much fun. Okay, coming up at 4:50, more on Paddle Fest. You better watch out.
I know, right?
I'm going to get some practice in. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about in Prestonsburg today.
Yeah.
Back to you guys. Come on, you want to race?
No, you're going to win, trust me.
Thank you, Deanne. How your child's bedtime can affect their weight. That's ahead in Better Living. And why people respond differently to different types of diets.
Saturday's Powerball jackpot is $333 million, and tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $20 million.
Now it's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Putting preschoolers to bed early can lower their risk of obesity as teens. That's according to researchers at Ohio State. They found children who go to bed by 8 p.m. are far less likely to become obese. They say children who went to bed at 9 p.m. or later doubled their risk of becoming overweight. If you struggle losing weight on certain diets, it might not be you. Blame it on genetics. Researchers tested mice with 4 different genetic strands to see how they responded to 4 different diets: a traditional Japanese diet, Mediterranean diet, high fat, low carb, and typical Western diet. They found the mice each had varying responses to the diets. And if you are overweight or obese, your risk of dying prematurely is higher. Researchers from Harvard University and the University of Cambridge found the more extra pounds you have, the greater the risk. But being too thin is also not healthy. The research found underweight people also had a higher risk of dying early. Road rage can include rude gestures, swearing, even physical threats. Jamie Yukas is in New York and looks at how common this has really become.
After an argument, a driver in Florida ran over Joe Calderazzo on his motorcycle, breaking his leg.
I think people need to understand the depth of their actions.
In Colorado, police say a motorcyclist shot at a couple's car after being cut off. Many drivers say they see road rage whenever they get behind the wheel.
I think it just creates a lot of hectic and hazardous situation for other drivers.
In a new survey from AAA, nearly 8 in 10 U.S. drivers reported engaging in angry and aggressive behaviors over the past year. 51% say they purposely tailgated. 47% yelled at another driver, and 45% of drivers say they honked at someone.
AAA estimates nearly 6 million drivers have either bumped or rammed another car on purpose, and 7 million have gotten out of their car to confront a driver.
I think we're definitely surprised at how often it's occurring. And to tell you the truth, a lot of times we look at these numbers and people tend to underreport.
Male drivers and drivers between 19 and 39 were significantly more likely to engage in aggressive behaviors. But even mom, Bridget Selnick, admits to losing her temper.
Do you ever get mad behind the wheel? Sometimes.
She lives in New York. The survey found drivers in the Northeast are angrier than those in other parts of the country. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, New York.
Now, AAA offers some tips like never cause another driver to change speed or direction, be tolerant, the other driver could be having a really bad day, and don't respond with eye contact or gestures. They can only escalate the situation. The news is just now getting started. Here's Sam Dick and Amber Philpott with what we're working on at 4:30.